Welcome. This is Test 4-2 review for academic. So what do you need to know to be successful? Questions 1 through 3. Alicia is on a hill that is 10 meters above the sea. Alicia sees a bird that is flying upward toward the sun. Alicia follows at a rate of 1 meter per minute. Represent her position. So she's at 0 minute. She's at 10 meters above the sea. After 1 minute, she goes up. She follows the bird 1 meter, so now she's at 11 meters. After 2 minutes, she goes up to 12, 3 meters, 13, 4 to 14. So which side is the independent and dependent? If you remember the poster or know anything about dependent and independent, in many ways to describe it, her possessions depends on how many minutes. That's why this is a dependent. The y-axis is always the dependent. The x-axis is always the independent. So name the dependent variable. Dependent are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The independent is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what is the equation? Plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. How would you write that? We're adding 10 to these numbers. What letter do you see here? X. So it's x plus 10 or y equal x plus 10. And what type of relationship? Additive. 4, 5, 6. The graph shows the relationship between x and y. So 0, 0. When x is 1, y is 3. When x is 2, y is 6. When x is 3, y is 9. So what is the relationship here? Times 3, times 3, times 3, times 3. What letter are these? X's. So x times 3, y equal x times 3. Do you know a better way of saying this? What's another way to represent x times 3? Y equal 3 groups of x, or y equal 3x. Oh, I skipped around. That's multiple relationship. And which side is the independent, dependent? This is the dependent, this is the independent. The independent is the x, dependent is the y. So the dependent is the x, the independent is the y. Wait, did I make that? Name the dependent. Name the dependent. Dependent. I think I got this one wrong. Oh, how embarrassing. Name the dependent is y. And what numbers do you see? 0, 3, 6, 9. Name the independent. It is x, 0, 1, 2, 3. Let me go back here and make sure I did this correctly. The dependent is a position. The independent is the minutes. How embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed about that. All right, number 7. What makes an equation? An equation has to have an equal sign. It has to equal to an answer. This side is equal to that side. So this is an equation. Oh, the question said which one is not an equation? Well, this is an equation. This is equal. Twice the number is 6. They said the answer is 6, so that's an equation. Equation. This is an equation, so it's supposed to be C. 6 years older than Mike. What's the answer? What is that equal to? That's why it's not an equation. Number 8. Can you solve this equation? So here's P. I need to isolate P. How do I isolate P? What is the inverse or opposite of minus 214.8 plus 214.8? So you do it on both sides to balance it out. This cancel. So if you add 198.4 plus 214.8, it adds up to 413.2. That's why D. So you do the inverse or opposite operation to solve for the variable P. Number 9, 10, 11, 12. Can you solve these integer? You have 3 negatives, 4 positive, 9 negative. All these make 0 pair. You're left with negative 8. I like how one kid in my first period class does it this way. He takes all the negatives and put them together. That's negative 12. 4 positive. I have 8 more negatives than positive. 6 minus 9. Let's try to do it in our head. If you have $6 and you buy something or take away and $9 from it. Do you have money? No. You're in debt by $3. Another way to think about it is called add opposite. So you keep the 6. What's the opposite of 9? Negative 9. 6 and negative 9 is negative 3. What is 5 times negative 7? 5 times 7 is 35. This means do the opposite, negative 35. Or 5 groups of negative 7 is negative 35. And what's negative 42 divided by 6 groups? Negative 7. 42 divided by 6 is 7. This means opposite, negative. And 13, can you solve this scale? There are many ways to do it. You can use the picture to help you solve it. Here's x. How can I isolate x? I need to draw 3 positives. I need to balance it on the other side. All of this cancels out, so x is equal to 7. Oh, but what if you want to write it as an equation? 4 equal x minus 3. So I need to do, here's x. I need to isolate x. What is the inverse or opposite of negative 3 or minus 3? Positive 3. Positive 3. Let's cancel. 7 equals x, or x equals 7. 14. Can you solve this equation? 235 and 86 cents plus m equals $923.75. So here's m. I need to isolate m. What is the inverse of $235.86 minus 235.86? I do it on both sides. Just cancel. If you subtract these two numbers, you get $687.89. And number 15 and 16 is the end. 15, 16. So here's G. What is the inverse of negative 11? Positive 11 on both sides. This cancels out. 3 plus 11 is 14. To check your work, I replace the G with 14. Negative 11 plus 14 is positive 3. K, negative 4, 2 equals negative 12 plus K. Here's K, I need to isolate K. What is the inverse of 12 negative? 12 positive. So I do it on both sides. Just cancel out. 12 positive, 2 negative is 10. K equals 10. To check your work, 12 negative plus 10 positive is negative 2. So I did do it correctly. And that is what you need to know to be successful on test 4-2 academic.